these enthalpy likewise and entropy likewise, you can show that this equation holds just as this is shown in this equation. So we mathematically, you can show from actual data that this matches the Gibbs free energy reaction equation according to these principles. So here I had proof in my own mind that I was going in the right direction. So that was 2000. That was 2002. So then in 27 April 2005 is kind of when the Institute of Human Thermodynamics launched. So I launched HumanThermodynamicscom, and then I followed up Journal of Human Thermodynamics, and I started gathering people together. Georgie Gladstep, Jing Chen, the economist, Elizabeth Porteous. She had a thermodynamic theory of philosophy. Have you guys ever heard of Dole Fruits?
What?
Do you sell the brand Dole fruits? Pineapples, Dole pineapples?
Yes.
The brand D-O-L-E?
Yes.
This is the granddaughter of the Dole. She was her father graduated from Harvard and went to Hawaii and started growing pineapple trees, and he developed the Dole Pineapple Fruit Company.
Oh.
So she ended up, granddaughter ended up, they called her the Pineapple Princess of Hawaii. But when she got older, she had 2 children, and she wanted to develop a theory on what was the best way to raise her children in terms of thermodynamics. So she developed what's called a thermodynamic theory of philosophy.
Oh.
We'll show a picture of her. So she was one of our first members in the Institute of Human Thermodynamics. So you see here, 1911, she lived to be 99 years old. And she developed this thermodynamic theory of happiness. And she's talked about the impulse of integration. And the second law is the loss of disintegration. And so she was the daughter of American self-made industrialist James Dole, who the Pineapple King who founded Dole Fruit Company. So she's one of the people in the Institute of Human. So you ask, where is the institute located? It's located in people like this that came together. She published an article in the journal, and she's not here anymore, but she's part of the founding Institute of Human Thermodynamics. So that was 2001. So this is what the so let's see. So if you go, I'm going to show you how this UHT originally started. So this is the Encyclopedia of Human Thermodynamics. This is when I first went public with my ideas, was in 2005. So I started this, and I wrote a summary. This was meant to be, the main page, this was meant to be simple so that young children could read. People like children aged 10 to 18.
Okay.
So you have simple example here that
Actually, these are the basics.
particle physics, plus the idea that a person is a molecule, plus the science of human chemistry, plus the idea that desire is something that's evolved over time from the desire of hydrogen to react with oxygen, to animals to react with each other, to humans to react with each other, and then it's all governed by thermodynamics. So then you see, this is something that children can understand here. You have two human molecules. The question is, why do certain subatomic particles, atoms, or molecules desire to be with certain other subatomic particles, atoms, or molecules? And through these desire fulfillment processes, heat is released or absorbed. That's a universal principle that goes back to Heraclitus, the Greek philosophers. They wanted to understand everything in terms of heat and change. So then summing up point A and point B, together with our curiosity about human existence, we note that starting from an early age, there are several questions that we want to know. For example, why do I have to bond with someone, desire to get married, and why do I have to make the selection? And so anyways, here's where thermodynamics is founded. So Sadi Carnot, the founder of thermodynamics, he says two heat are due to the vast movements which take place on the earth. So all of social movements is due to heat. Or now we say, like Mirza said, everything is entropy driven. But that wasn't developed until 1865 through Rudolf Clausius. But before, in 1824, when Sadi Carnot published his work, this was where he founded thermodynamics. So here's Sadi Carnot right here. He's the founder of thermodynamics. And he published his On the Motive Power of Fire, where the second law came from. But getting back to where UHT came from, when I first started writing online, I needed to make a glossary online. So if I had a keyword, I could either reference it to, I needed to reference it to online dictionary so people could click, because this was when the internet was first starting to develop. So I made this glossary right here. See where it says glossary right here? So this is where UHT developed Mirza right here. You see here? Glossary. So you click on this one. And so this is where, before EOHT.info was EOHT.info, it was this online glossary of terms. So if you clicked on, let's say S. So now you go down to S, and all of these are, so here's the molecular formula for the sun, as thinking of it as a molecule, sun molecule. Here's an example of a superhuman molecular organism. So this, and then I give citations of where this sort of came from, and I see this, and an economic system is a society of people bonded by social contract. So then I got related quotes here. And so originally each one of these had a hyperlink to it. So if I wrote an article external to the site, I could click and link this to it would go right to this page. And then I found Wikipedia started to develop in about 2003 to 2006. So then I found it easier to write in Wikipedia. And I started writing, instead of making this online glossary with links, I found that wikis are very fast to store lots of information. So then I started writing in Wikipedia. Let's see what it says here. Right. So when I started writing for Wikipedia, in November, in about 2000, I read a link to a Wikipedia article that said, somebody said the presentation of love viewed as a human chemical reaction between human molecules, mx plus fy, is equals to mx plus fy, is good for a laugh, but not much else. These were the kind of reactions I would get for Wikipedia. So this is what V. Smith said. He's a master's degree in geology. And so people like this control Wikipedia. So if there's only you and me, but there's 20 other people they can come and vote. They say, we need to delete this article on human chemistry that I wrote. They said, is this some kind of joke? Like if I wrote an article on physical-chemical sociology right now, they would delete it off Wikipedia. Yeah. They would say, this is this is a joke or something. Because they're stupid people. People that don't, they only see certain way they've been taught. So I was kind of battling with people in Wikipedia, and I ended up writing about between 2005 and 2008, I wrote about 180 articles, but then finally I just quit the whole thing, and I found this other wiki site called WetPaint, and I saw that I could make my own Wikipedia. So that's where, and then I started that, and let me show you.
That's what happened. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's out of rebellion.
So let me just show you here.
It's out of rebellion. You are under stress. When you are under stress, you relieve the stress.
Yeah. So you
But
get
so many, you are so much strained that you have to relieve the stress.
Yeah, you have to
And
leave.
the relief of stress is publish your own.
So 5/30, 2005, I started working at Wikipedia, and I started first article I wrote was Human Thermodynamics, and that ended up in articles for deletion. And I restarted it again. It stayed for 2 years in editor. I wrote 180 articles, and I contributed 8,500 edits to Wikipedia. But then I discovered Goethe in February 2006, and that's when I started writing. I saw that I had to write. I had decided I had to write an article. I had to write a book on human thermodynamics, or let's say then. So 12/24, I launched EOHT.info with 3 articles: Sadi Carnot, Human Thermodynamics, and Human Chemistry. So now it started growing, and articles started growing in size. So now we get down here. By 2008, I was up to 27 pages, and I was, you go down here, the logo had changed to this. So it's kind of like Wikipedia, but the Human Thermodynamics Wikipedia. So now we go down here, 2010, I was up to 1,300 articles, and there were 78 members, and I was getting about 21,000 page views per day. And then the banner had changed to this in late 2010. And the banner changed to this. And in 2013, I was at 2,800 articles. And this is the programmer for the site, Travis D. Rowan. He's a Canadian programmer. Because the one who runs the site kind of. So the Social Physics School became the 3,000th article. And then, oh, look at here. Let's see. There's a bigs coming in here. 2014. In 2014, we discovered Mirza big. This changed the whole structure of the encyclopedia. Let's take a look here. Yeah, 513 discovered Mirza big. I found a gold mine over here. I found diamonds hidden in the world's knowledge, and via keyword Google search on the term Physico-Chemical Sociology. So this is the keyword that I discovered you. And this was in. So after this, I had to come. I started the whole structure. I had to rewrite the whole encyclopedia to make sure it fit with all the new information I had. So this is 623, engaged into the Big Thims dialogue. So we'll try to talk about this tomorrow. And after this engagement right here switched me from kind of being like implicit, not talk about religion. I just really didn't talk about it. But after I engaged with you, I saw that if I keep my mouth shut and I don't talk about it, it's only going to make for more confusion in the future. So then I started opening up about talking about gods, not non-gods, spirit, souls. But before that, I didn't use any of those terms. I didn't use soul, God, spirit, religion. I just avoided it. So if you read my books on human chemistry, there's no mention of anything, any kind of religious mention, because I just wanted to do it pure. Just like when you read a chemistry textbook, there's no mention of anything, gods or spirits or souls. It's just energy, work, heat, temperature, pressure. So I wanted to keep it just pure scientific. But after my engagement with you, then I started seeing that I need to engage everything: religion, people's beliefs. I needed to see that we all have to come to the table and talk about this kind of thing. So that's what I switched over there. So then here's 2015. I had moved, and this is the books, all the books of 1,500 books of HumanThermodynamics in 29 banana boxes and 6 egg boxes. Really books. 1,300 books went into the writing of this EOHT.info. So you see all the these are my own personal design snake shells. So it took me about 2-3 years to make these, because I first started to stack. When I first started studying, I would stack books up like this, and I found that I tried to make a shelf that would hold them like this, but I found that they were tipped over. So then I tried to make shelves like this, with shelves with a pole in the middle, and I thought I could rotate the shelves like a spiral going up like this, and put the books on each shelf. But then I decided that I needed side braces right here, and then so brace here. And if I put this out here, I found that the whole thing could be self-standing. So it could hold 800 pounds of books, and I can move it around on wheels to make adjustments when I need to move bookshelves. So I have about 15 of bookshelves like this. And then, so now, we're down here. And I published, in 2016, I published a 10-volume print set. And this was just in case everything crashed online, and the whole thing was, it got deleted somehow, I would have a physical copy of the encyclopedia. So there's Mirza Big Volume 1, and you're in that, and then, so there's the print set right there. So you see, look, A, there's Volume 10 right there, the miscellaneous J through Z. But see the B right here? A through Mirza Big. Yeah. And then 2019, I got up to the 5,000th article. And at that point, that's kind of where we are right now. Because at that point, I switched the, so at that point, I simplified the whole website just down to this simple, this one-page opening. This is just the main, about 5,000, all the 5,000 articles, you have to start with two things. You have to understand that you can map human reactions mechanistically, as Goethe did in his first chapter 4. Charlotte, Edward, and the captain, they react to form two new products. Or it's two, this is a dihumanide molecule. Charlotte, Edward is a dihumanide molecule. The captain is a human molecule, forms another dihumanide molecule, plus one human molecule. And you have to understand that free energy change decreases the measure of this spontaneity. And then you also have to understand that human is a 26 element molecule. So once you have those three things as your keys, you can go and start searching everything. So that's that. Now we're going to get into chapter 5 of Mirza's book. That's where UHT came from. So
Listen, that I have learned.
I answered your question good?
That either you have been working for me or I have been working for you. But the goal is the same.
Yeah, the goal is the same.
Yeah, goal is the same.
Yeah, the same goal.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yes.
Only the difference is that I am working without resources.
Yeah.
And you are very resourceful.
Yeah.
And so you have been able to translate much of those that theory.
Yeah, I guess that's.
Converted the enthalpy into entropy.
Uh-huh.
I've been very slow because of paucity of resources with me.
Yeah.
I don't have resources.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of America. There's lots of money, and you can get money. But the problem is for me, if you're a good student in America and you study, within 4 years you can get a highest paying degree. It's just a matter of putting your mind to it, and you can be making more than $100,000 per year. But the question is, when you get to that point, is why? Why are you making the money? What is the picture in terms of that's the problem I reached. I didn't understand why. What is? I got to the point I needed to pause and understand why of everything. Am I just working to make money to get to pick some for whatever? Right? So then I need to slow down, and I need to understand how this in terms of the operation of the universe. So
Okay, actually here we have a program like USAID, and they have opened around 10 to 11 branches and from their different names, and they provide facilities like library, electric libraries, and they have lot of books and lot of resources there.
Yeah.
So people who cannot afford here
Yeah.
can go there and can research and can.
Yeah.
That's very helpful.
Yeah. That's I think that's all you need is just if you connect to the
Connect to the world, yes.
connect to the world, you can get yeah.
You know about the USAID program here?
No, it's called USA program.
USAID program.
Some of the one thing that is difficult in Pakistan is they still block certain websites. So I tried searching for some things in the hotel room, and it said blocked. This is not.
Okay, so you can use,
most things you can get information though.
you can use proxy.
I put this,
Proxy?
this down whole thing.
Huh?
I put this whole thing down in an article which became very popular. Knowledge, information, and wisdom.
Yeah.
Information, knowledge, and wisdom. And I said, the people in the West, they are blessed with resources.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of information available.
Yeah, that's the.
There are knowledgeable people. There are people with knowledge.
Yeah.
Very few people with knowledge. They convert the information into knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
They are blessed with the capacity to translate the information available into knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's it. Then you need wisdom.
Yeah.
And wisdom is hard to get.
Yeah.
And very few wise men.
Yeah. Most people are.
Very few wise
Yeah.
men.
Most people are.
The wise men translate the knowledge into what? Into wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So very few people. But if you are in the fountainhead of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
then you will produce wisdom.
Yeah.
That's the reason that we don't have any wise man here.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
That's because we may have access to knowledge, but no access to information.
Mm-hmm.
But there is nobody to translate the information into knowledge.
Yeah.
And since that is not possible, people go somewhere from here. I cite the example of two gentlemen in Pakistan. One is Khurana and the other is Salam. Khurana got educated here in Punjab, but he knew that he cannot acknowledge knowledge as well as anybody else, so he migrated.
Mm-hmm.
Migrated to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, he worked for at the same place, Whitewood, where I was working, and he got his first recognition as a Nobel Prize winner
Mm-hmm.
on something like those coenzyme A.
Mm-hmm.
Then people in Canada, in Vancouver, they said, here is a chair, here is the institute, here is something that you can do. But please consider Vancouver to be the seat of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
He thought over it, but then he migrated. He said, no, I cannot stay in Vancouver anymore. I would go to the place where knowledge is being created. And he went to Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Worked along with other people.
Yeah, Wisconsin has.
And then he got another Nobel Prize. Now it was independent.
2 Nobel Prizes.
That was because he was a knowledge seeker.
What's his name?
Knowledge at Wisconsin. He said, I'm going there because there is a fountainhead of knowledge.
Yeah.
I must go there.
Yeah.
And he works there. So if you are really interested, the very few people will be interested.
What's his name?
Like this one.
What's his name?
I had the opportunity. They offered me. I said, no. I am a Pakistani.
Okay.
I must go and serve my country.
Okay. Well,
But then the country had no place for knowledge.
Yeah.
नाम पूछ रहे हैं वो.
I'll tell you, the best thing that's happened though is in 2006 is the invention of Google Books. That's going to change the future for knowledge. Because now with one phone, it doesn't really work on phone very good, but if you have a laptop, you can go to googlebooks.com and you can search all the libraries in the world right from your
Yes.
laptop.
Yes.
And you can get anything that was published older than 70 years old, you can read for free. So less than 70 years old, you can read snippets of it. You can order the book through Amazon. But before things published before 1930 or so, 1940, you can read for free. So you can read. That's when I started. When that from 2006 to about 2013 or so is I was just my mind was oversaturated with knowledge. I couldn't. Every day I would get up and keyword search for new things. Because before 2006, when I was researching these things, my access to knowledge was very limited because I could only go maybe to the local bookstores, the library, and I couldn't search. I couldn't find any Mirza Begs or anything, things like Goethe. I found from going to the local bookstores. When I read one book, and then I read a reference to this thing called Middler the Mediator, in a little footnote in one book. So then I researched this Middler the Mediator, and then I found Goethe, but it's very difficult.
Research was limited.
Yes, but now after Google, when Google Books happened in 2006, that's how encyclopedia grew into 5,000 articles. From 2000. In 2008, I launched HumanThermodynamicscom 2 years after Google Books started, and I quickly grew into 5,000 articles. So now I've got 90% of all the information went through my head, filtered it, and separated it all into articles. Break all the information down. So anything you can search, pretty much any key term related to physics, chemistry, or thermodynamics, or mathematics applied to the humanities, sociology, economics, philosophy, history, literature. You can find it. I broke all the information down into little pieces, searchable, stored pieces. So
Google Book was your turnaround.
Yeah, that was so exciting for me when this came up. Every day I would wake up for 10, maybe from upwards of 13 hours a day. I would just search and write, and then finally I finally got it organized. And then, so that's where eoht.info comes from.
By the way, you want to visit any blog site, you can use proxy.
Proxy?
Yes. You can use, there's a website proxy, or you can download an application.
Oh, so that's what they do here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they unblock all the blog sites and you can visit there easily.
Oh, okay. Pretty much in America they don't block very much. You're going to get pretty much everything free.
Yeah, there are some restrictions for some websites, so they block.
Yeah, here I noticed there's some restriction.
Yeah.
But, so let's move. We're going to start in chapter 5 here. Let's see what time it is. So now it's 10:50, and we're going to start into chapter 5 here. Affinity and socialization. We've got the stopwatch going. Now we're going to make lots of progress now. So here we are, 1987. Mirza Biggs published Chapter 5, Affinity and Socialization. So not since Goethe has anybody applied chemical affinity to socialization. So this is, we went from Goethe, who's #1 ranked genius in the world right now. Here, I'll show you, we'll look at genius page here real fast. So here, type. Go down right here, there's Goethe right, #1, top 100 genius. Now you go down here to, there's this video I made. So when the lectures gets done, your video is going to be listed on this channel, but it's going to be called Mirza Big Interview Day 1, Mirza Big Interview Day 2, Mirza Big Interview Day 3, Day